Hi guys, I just want to come on here and do a quick video of a question that I get asked a lot, and the question is, do I go to church? Now before I go into answering this question, first off, I just want to say that whatever I say, please don't take my word for anything. Please always go to the Father, pray, ask Him for confirmation or some kind of leading or guidance to anything that I say. Please test all spirits when it comes to anybody, me, myself included. I do the same thing. So whatever I do doesn't mean you have to do it. The Lord has us all placed in different areas at certain times in our life for testing, for learning. This is how He teaches us and into who we are and who we become when we're awakened to understanding who we are. So I just want to say that I do not go to church. I always knew when I was very young, when I did go to church, I've probably been to church maybe about 10 times total, I'd say. I was not raised in a religious family. I had my grandma and papi were my biggest influences in my life, who were always talking about God to me as a young girl, but it wasn't very often. It wasn't like how it normally is in a family who's brought up in church and all this stuff. I never had anybody tell me about Jesus. I never knew anything about Him coming back. I never knew anything about the end times. I never knew anything other than I talked to a man named God when I was a little girl. I have memories from when I was 3 and 5 where I talk out my window to the sky, and I knew instinctively to pray and to talk to Him, and I heard Him all the time, kind of like an imaginary friend. He was my best friend. He was, for many years I hid myself away until my adolescence, where I started falling into the sins of the world, but I needed that because it was all training and testing, which I've talked about this in a video before. Most of you remember. So I never felt comfortable in churches. I never felt the desire, the need to be in churches. The fellowship is wonderful. It's great. But what I saw in churches was a lot of hooking up with young Christian people, young kids. It's mostly the kid takeover of like the teenager area. There was a lot of just gossiping older people. And also what I've seen, me personally, I've seen people go to church on Sunday, that afternoon they have their Bible study, and then the next day they're getting drunk in their garages and they're flirting with each other's spouses. That's what I see going on around here. People who are calling themselves Christians going to church and then not living the life of being a Christian, not just going back to their everyday nasty sin and getting their cleanse for the next following week. They're going to church crying, cleansing themselves. It's really sad. It's really sad because they're not strong in their mind to fight this mental thing that's going on. It's all warfare. They don't even realize it. And that's another reason why I don't go to church. I have yet not come to a good Holy Spirit filled church. I've not found not one of them where I'm at. Not saying that all churches are bad, like I said in the very beginning, but this is what I'm seeing right now, and it's really sad what's going on right now. So saying that they're all like this, but I didn't feel good. I didn't feel comfortable. I always felt like I was being singled out of everybody in the church. It was really awkward. I tried to explain this a couple times to some people that I went with, but they looked at me like I was crazy. But I never felt comfortable in the churches. I always felt the most comfortable talking and praying to the Lord in me, where He is in me, and that's how I've always believed. So yes, I don't go to church. I don't feel like I'm not saying all churches. Now, if I could go to a church, any church, I would say it would have to be anybody who is like Carter Conlon and Paul Washer and Tim Conaway. I would say those would be the churches that I would go to, because I know for a fact that they speak the word. And for me, I know that that's the type of people who I need to fill and consume into me to become more like Christ. They are good elders on this earth, like teachers, to teach us how to become more like Christ. That's what I believe. I am very, very careful when it comes to pastors to listen to, and I always tend to go through to the ones that are like Pastor Carter Conlon, David Wilkerson. He is like one of my ultimate favorites. It's amazing how that man is passed on, and he's still planting so many seeds, and so many people are becoming awakened in these last days. This man is true. Same with Carter. So if I could go to church, this would be a church that I would go to. But yeah, I do not go to church. I don't. Me and my husband, we believe that church is in here. It's within us. I use my YouTube as a fellowshipping area, or Google Plus, to fellowship with brothers and sisters. I try to more so I stay out of it. And especially in the times that we're living in. It's very, very dangerous right now. They're not preaching the word enough. That's how I believe. So I find the pastors that the Lord leads me to listen to from YouTube. So I am subscribed to Times Square Ministry, or Times Square Church. Again, this is the second video. I can't talk right. Times Square Church. I will link that channel down in the description box down below. But yeah, I just wanted to clear that up. I just wanted to answer that question for so many people who've asked me that throughout the years. So it's been long overdue that I did a video on that, for the amount of subscribers that have come out. So down in the description box is going to be something that Father and I wrote a long time ago. I've shared it on Google Plus before, but I've never shared it to YouTube, and YouTube is the fastest way to reach souls by seed planting. So it's a little bit of understanding on how I feel, like what goes on in my mind. It's just only a tiny, tiny bit of something. There's much more. But yeah. So if anybody wants to read it, it's in the description box down below. I love you all, and I pray that you all have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day in the Lord.